I think when a Scandinavian space is done really right, when it's made with natural elements, when there are things that are really nice to touch, when there's little points of light that welcome you in, this is really a big hug. That's what these rooms feel like to me. You're both tied to nature and experiencing the gorgeousness and grandeur of what happens outside, but you are welcomed in with both arms in a space that feels truly Nordic or Scandinavian. Scandinavian style is spare and cozy.
It's clean and thoughtful.
Warm minimalism.
When you enter into a room that's within the realm of Scandinavian design, there's an overall feeling of calm.
It's never cluttered, it's never overwhelming, it always feels really welcoming and really right.
Scandinavian design is all about bright but warm. Light woods, really inviting textures.
It's all about that minimal, clean living. Everything is in its place. Lots of big, bright windows. In Scandinavian design, they really believe in taking advantage of that floor to ceiling light.
A common thing that you'll see in Scandinavian interiors is this inspiration that's drawn from nature, really bringing the outdoors in.
There's sometimes almost a Zen-like atmosphere to it, and they achieve this through their use of materials and their color palette.
We immediately think of blonde woods, of sheepskins, of cozy throws. You know, Scandinavians really understand what it's like to be good at being at home. They know exactly how to get comfy and enjoy themselves. It's an incredible thing to pull off, and I think a lot of us are trying to do it because it's so successful and it has such a good vibe to it.
Scandinavian design really starts at the same time as modernism in the 1920s and the 1930s. The Scandinavian designers didn't want to be quite as hardcore industrial. They wanted something softer, so they created products that reflected their localities better.
There is a beautiful landscape of forest and trees, and of course that snowfall that we think of when we think of Nordic countries. And they're surrounded by incredible forests and incredible craftsmen who've learned over many, many hundreds of years to use that wood and to bend it and literally mold it into the shape of comfortable furnishings.
There were multiple events in the post-war period that resulted in Scandinavian design being very popular around the world, and one of them was a touring exhibit, Design in Scandinavia.
This program called Design in Scandinavia traveled all throughout the world, and it was really teaching us what Scandinavian design should look like.
And the products were met with great acclaim.
This was when Elizabeth Gordon, who was a really seminal magazine editor for House Beautiful, brought over this kind of exhibition of Scandinavian design that celebrated a lot of kind of the traditional cultural elements of design there. That's really the influence of Scandinavian designers in America. In later years, we see, Arne Jacobsen, who designed the egg chair and these iconic designs that really take hold.
Something that really was significant in establishing Scandinavian design as a global force was the Finnish company Marimekko. And within a very short period of time, they had hundreds of stores all around the world. And they did furnishings and a whole lot of textiles. They were very much a forerunner to the follow-up company, Ikea.
I mean, like, seriously, when we talk about Ikea, they have birthed so many great designs outside of the Swedish meatball.
Ikea was an absolute pioneer in bringing it to America and enduring and still continuing to sort of pioneer interesting techniques.
One of the places where they really have embraced the Nordic mindset is the Upper Midwest. There's this incredible property in Wisconsin with these very grand floor-to-ceiling glass windows that is really all about letting the outside in. In this home, you have these really cozy cabin-like vibes, but at the same time, everything's clean, minimalist, and modern. There's this really cool wood-burning stove that is curvilinear, clean line, minimalist, but yet exudes this incredible warmth. You also see this really lovely contrasting of light and dark woods. You have the blonde, the walnut, the ebonite woods that all kind of come together harmoniously.
Comfort is so clear in the bedroom of this home, which has, again, the wood sort of slatting behind as a headboard, and then, you know, the beautiful sort of like belt strapping of that low slung chair that's positioned right by the fire element, so that you can just picture getting cozy with that little fur throw and reading a book.
Another great thing about Scandinavian furniture is the fact that it plays well with other design styles. The one that it gravitates the most to is going to be mid-century design. This is an open concept, which is beautiful. The light wood that we've been seeing in Scandinavian design, there is almost like a slat wall that has been created, which is that mid-century modern design. One of my favorite things about this house has to be the Scandinavian kitchen. When you look at the cabinetry, you know, it's beautiful, ceiling to floor. It allows you just to basically hide anything you want from the microwave to the refrigerator. When we look at the dining area, you know, you begin to see these curved arms, which are very prevalent in that whole Scandinavian design. In this space, you're also going to see a lot of symmetry. Symmetrical objects are really big in Scandinavian furniture. So you're going to see, you know, 2 bedside tables, 2 lamps, the his and hers, or the hers and hers, his and his. Everybody has their lamp in the space.
There's a second property in northern Wisconsin that takes many of its architectural inspirations from vernacular buildings in Scandinavia, like how farms are in the Scandinavian countryside and how fishermen's cottages are built. The house itself looks like it's a shotgun marriage between German modernist Mies van der Rohe and a Swedish sauna, and that's very consistent with what Scandinavian designers were trying to achieve.
This incredible property is also about bringing the outdoors in, but this one keeps things a little bit softer, a little bit lighter, a little bit less contrast. When you walk in, you immediately notice the abundance of daylight, tall white walls that meet the knotted pine ceilings. In the dining area, you have a painted white table paired with blonde wood that feels like this very quintessential Scandinavian moment.
So the people in Wisconsin clearly got the memo that Scandinavian design is the way to go. Look at the textures that are in the space. The main tone here is the natural tones, but also, you know, looking at the curves that we see in some of the furniture pieces, everything is kind of weaving and tying itself together. When you go into the bedroom, you know, again, going back to that whole Scandinavian design where less is more and you only need key essentials, we've got an element of architectural detail with that same like wood that we've seen themed throughout the rest of the space. And again, talking about like less is more and only choosing key pieces that you really love, we also see an Eames chair, which we know is a very iconic chair. You know, you just throw a throw or a pillow in the space and it speaks for itself. The first step to creating a Scandinavian design style you're not gonna like, you need to go down to your hardware store and get some boxes because honey, I can tell you, you need to declutter your space. You've got to get yourself back to a grounded space where when you walk into the room, you see clear walls.
Not every space is filled with objects. It's about creating that balance and that openness so that it feels inviting but not full.
One of the things that Scandinavian designers were interested in is using materials that are fairly close to their natural state. So if you want to achieve a Scandinavian look, use a sheepskin, use a cowhide.
You know, materials are really important in Scandinavian design, to look for, you know, beautiful woods, things that are handmade, items that are really made with care. You really only need a handful of those and some great woolens or some cozy items, but it's important to really vary the texture.
In Danish and Norwegian, there's this word hygge that really essentially means cozy togetherness.
You can picture these, you know, cozy elements, the furs, the chunky blankets, this way of kind of curling up and really digging into your home. North Americans have a love of Scandinavian style. They almost always have since the moment it was introduced. There's just something that has a sweetness to it and a hominess to it that really sort of touches our heart.
As long as Ikea is pushing out meatballs, we will always have Scandinavian design. So don't worry, friends, it'll be here for a very long time.